Yeah.
Good. Hodge Pack, sports life, and everything in between on a great. Hope everybody's doing well. We are here live in the Pagosi Live studio, which is now the Mall of Athens. We got a loaded show today. We always talk about when football season gets here that we could very easily be a 3-hour show. Today could very easily be a 3-hour show that has zero to do with football, with a little Cowboys are heading here with you. The Texas World Series champions. There's no way that the Lawrence Hall headline report start that statement.
You're right. It's still a little bit.
Well, it is, and we're going to talk a lot about the World Series, all that it really means, and now, and of course, our Texas metropolitan areas that have won all 4 of the championships. But you think about what the Rangers did last night, or this past week. They finished it off. All 4 major franchises in the Metroplex area have championships, world championships. Hopefully, it maybe continues. Maybe it's contagious. I'm hoping the road wins our weekend with the Cowboys heading to Philly. It allows you to decompress a little bit. It was a good thing, Josh. They won on Wednesday. Give you a chance to decompress before Sunday's big game. Which be sure you find a place to watch it. It's going to be a great. The Rangers take care of business, and so we're going to talk about it. We're going to hear the last call, the final strike. There were so many things that were great about it. Evan Harris, I'm sure he saw it. Maybe he created it, but the fact that the mascot spelled out road was pretty cool. 11-0 on the road, 40-41 on the road throughout the regular season, but got hot at the right time, and so Rangers are World Series champs. Shout out to those that may be going to the parade today. I know my mom going. Josh, you thought about it, but you made a decision. What's really for you, for a person that you like people, but an amount of people is a problem for you. You World Series. We're going to talk about how just different the emotions that it really brought in. That 2011, really a heartbreak in 2010. I think in 2010 we were probably the Arizona Diamondbacks. Oh, hey, didn't know this.
And beat 4-1.
Right. And so, and then moved on. And Josh, you actually called the 5 games. You said Rangers in 5. You called that, and I'll tell you, besides Coach Mike is Ranger Report, also this morning, Abilene High District Champions is going to be our Big Country Electric My Town segment at the bottom of this hour. Misty will join us. Of course, she'll have a bag to open up, and we'll see what she has for us. And then we're going to talk about, hey, let's take just an appreciation of what you have, and we'll talk about how sometimes we can get a lot of things when it comes to coaches, and we'll talk about that. Of course, I'll get a lot of flat coaches. Took a phone call probably, which actually he probably don't care. But anyway, so lots to cover. Again, the Cowboys are headed to Philly this weekend. Tonight, and then of course you've got the Texas A&M Aggies this weekend as well. But let's dive into our headline report so we can get to more baseball talk. But Lawrence Hall headline report, we'll kick off with Thursday night football. A lot of going on. Really, Josh, because neither of these 2 teams are ranked, unless you were paying attention. Texas Tech and TCU played last night. And so you can't just go straight to scores and look at ESPN's app because they're not going to be there. You have to go to the Big 12. You got to work real hard to find them. Right. But last night, Texas Tech wins 35-28. Big battle, which is kind of what happens in Big 12 sports, Big 12 football. Barry Morton, Eastern Maverick, throws for 282 yards, 2 touchdowns. Healthy again. Coach McGuire talked about that in his press conference, just having a healthy Morton, and so they win last night. Other football, Titans and the Steelers played last night, Thursday night football. The Steelers winning that 20-16. Kenny Pickett throws a late touchdown to Dante Johnson. to give them that victory. It does look like Will Levens played pretty decent last night. Not fantastic, no touchdowns, but did have an interception at the end of the game when they had a chance to go and have a game-winning drive that came up short. Real quick, coaches, Mike Tomlin, what he's been able to do has been pretty impressive. Winning season every year he's been there. Now they've got a chance to maybe make the playoffs one more time under him, and really has done it with. Yes, he had a Big Ben. But since then, he's another victory win beyond the last game. Of course, he's going to be watched all year long. 38 points last night. So Spurs take down the Suns 132 to 121. And then finally, Josh, I want to talk a little bit about this guy. We'll talk more about him when we get into our coaches segment, talking about just how we need to appreciate who coaches are. Coach Josh McDaniels was fired. We'll talk about that. That was headline also as well with the Raiders. But this past week, again, bittersweet. Congratulations to the Rangers. But on the same day, 83-year-old Bobby Knight passes away. Legendary coach, a guy that we talk about movies that could never be remade because they were inappropriate. Coach Knight could not coach today. These kids, I don't think, can handle Coach Knight today. Not more importantly, I don't think the parents can handle Coach Knight today. But Coach Knight, at the time of retiring, 902 wins, was the winningest coach in 2008. Three-time national champion. Last time to coach a men's team undefeated in 1976. Olympic gold medal. Was always known for his intensity, always known for his great press conferences, and of course, best known for a chair sliding across the floor a number of years ago. And if you talk to people, and I was reading a deal from a guy that played for him at Tech, just how much of an impact he had on his life. But Coach Knight was definitely one of the best, and probably would have a chance if you start talking about Mount Rushmores of coaches in general, which may be hard because there's only four. But when it comes to college basketball, Bobby Knight definitely one of those.
Yes, definitely. It's one of those things that his temper kind of became like more of his legacy. You know, that I guess probably not fairly so, because his resume is outstanding. But the thing that most people, when you think of Bobby Knight, think about him throwing the chair, being fiery, you know,
Right.
like
throwing the chair,
choking somebody.
Of course, he got caught, choking one guy. He was intense, and he definitely was known for that. Was known for the red sweater and all the things. And in fact, I was listening to an interview with Jay Billis. He said the 1975 team was probably a better team than the 76 team that went undefeated, and of course won a national championship. And so Bobby Knight passing away at the age of 83. Of course, he started in West Point, finished his career at Tech, and then sandwiched in between 11 years at Indiana. And of course, just a great legacy. 11 Big Ten top Big Ten conferences, 24 appearances in the NCAA tournament, and of course was known for man-to-man defense, motion, offense. And so Bobby Knight passing away at the age of 83. And it was really kind of we were going on a stretch there, Josh. There was a number of, whether it's Brooks Robinson, it's like somebody was passing away. Of course, Matthew Perry passed away from the entertainment world this past week as well. And so, anyway, that was a lot of that going on. Unfortunately, folks passing away, but Coach Bobby Knight passing away at the age of 83, and then again, also in the coaching world, I mentioned Josh McDaniels was fired at the Raiders. Antonio Pierce is now the new coach there. That is our Lawrence Hall headline report. Again, we appreciate Lawrence Hall and all that they do. And I'm going to tell you, as you're driving in your Lawrence Hall vehicle, if you're hungry this morning, swing through Mi Ranchito there on Buffalo Gap Road. Fantastic breakfast burritos or tacos if you prefer the smaller version. Appreciate Mi Ranchito being the official breakfast of the Hodge Pack. When we come back, our first bank and trust, Texas Rangers. Let me rephrase that, Josh. The First Bank and Trust World Series champions, Texas Rangers report. We'll talk about the ride that we were on for the last couple of weeks and really the career, if you will, of the fandom of the Texas Rangers. When we come back, right after this. I went ahead and went to commercial. Went to commercial there. That way we have more. time. All right, so we're rolling. Appreciate it. Check my hair. All right, how do you think we're at Texas Rangers?
I don't know. I can talk about it. That is for sure.
Well, one thing is we don't need to get rid of Will Smith. It's 3 straight rings.
Yeah, just bring them back.
You don't have to play a whole lot. All right, I'm assuming you are. Once you get people, here we go.
Are we?
We have camera.
Just that one?
Well, but it's gonna cover all of you.
Yeah.
Because the problem is I don't know if that third camera, they're going to eventually get it where we can hardwire in, but that third camera, I guess,
Yeah, we really need the hardwire.
it's got the last out coming back. Eric Nadell, and then we'll play that back coming back instead of. Of course, you got Seager.
I was trying to remember which one it was. I think it was a Bobby Knight's 800th career win.
Seager first to win MVPs in both leagues, right?
Yeah, Reggie Jackson's the only other one that's won with 2 different teams, but that was Oakland and New York.
I almost thought about getting Jared Sandler on. I think he might have been available unless it would have been crazy because of parade day. Maybe good to get somebody like either him or Emily next Friday and talk about what that was like. I don't think you drag Rangers out the rest of the year, even if you could. Oh, good. First Make It Trust is the last commercial. That's good. My thing is, what I was impressed with was,
Oh man, sorry.
was when Denny had to come in and pitch, obviously for game 4. Pitched really well. Djokovic, how do you say his last name? Jankowski, who sounds like he should be a kicker. He comes in for Garcia, productive, and the first game when Garcia's out, Marcus Semien finally comes up around and does what he's supposed to do. Hoping that's still recording. Welcome back to the Hodge Pack. That is the last and final out of the 2023 World Series. As it wasn't Leclerc, Spores comes in and gets the save and then finishes off the World Series. Of course, Eric Nadell on the call. And Josh, it was one of those moments we were at Mulligan's and one of those I really don't know how to explain it. You saw it on Twitter. There's different people that were filmed or Facebook that were filmed, the emotions, the Newberg filming of the guy just standing there, watching it, taking it all in. Saw Emily Jones on her Mom Game podcast yesterday. She starts talking about it, just starts, crying emotionally. But the Texas Rangers World Series champs and a run that a lot of people going into the season didn't see.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, hey, they're actually pretty good, and they're really, really good. And then, oh no, they're not very good. And then the roller coaster of, are we going to make the playoffs at the last couple weeks of the season, lose the final game of the season, and then become the Road Warriors?
Yeah, I mean, it like I said earlier in the first segment, it's just still kind of surreal to me because, it's something that obviously everybody watches their team every year and hopes that their team, has a good run. And every year, in whatever sport you're watching, there's really only one team that walks away truly ending on a good note. You can have a good season, when you weren't expected to. And this year, I remember when we go back to March, we were talking about, what the expectations were for the Rangers this year, what we thought they would do. And I believe that what I said would they be about an 85 win team, which I wasn't much off on that, even though the way we got there was very interesting because of the kind of fall apart that we had in August. But I would have said going into this year a successful season would have been like fighting for a wild card, maybe getting a wild card, and then by the time we didn't win the division, that was a disappointment because we were in place 2. And so it obviously was unexpected, but looking back at it, the pieces were obviously there. We knew and I say we a lot. It's we as fans. I think that's one of those things that some people take umbrage to when people say we when we're talking about a professional team. But I feel very comfortable in saying that because if it weren't for us as fans, there is no team. And so. Obviously we're not involved in the day-to-day and Chris Young doesn't ask me my opinion on anything, but it is something that we can, collectively take some credit for. We fill the seats, we support, we watch it on TV.
But I think the other thing that we do is that and unfortunately, and fortunately, and all the same, that's why you see the commercials, what sports actually means. It does. Well, I think that's the thing. We pour our hearts and we pour our beings into people that don't know us, but we have a fandom for these folks. Mm-hmm. And you start looking at, and everybody joked about, I don't know if I needed a game 6 because I don't think I had enough blood pressure medicine.
Yeah.
And so you look at the run that we went on and how you do look, and we talked about this a little bit when we were at Mulligan's, was like Albany finally won one for Denny Faith last year. And they talked about, and they'd been in a couple times, but they finally won it. And what it meant to the people that were previous Albany Lions. Mm-hmm. And I think that you see, when you see Michael Young in the stands and you see Beltray throwing out a first pitch and knowing how close we were in 2011, and it says a race, and you're not dreaming, and the ghost, if you would. Now, fortunately, we didn't have a ghost as long as the Cubs or the Red Sox, but our ghost was find the wall, win it all, because you don't know when you're going to get a chance to do that again. Now, Dave Schofield from ESPN.com ranks already because nobody has time to rest.
Oh yeah, we're already back to the World Series odds for next year came out the very next day.
Right, the Braves are number 1 and the Rangers are number 2. And you look at what the Rangers did without DeGrom, and how many games that people had to play, how many games Seager was gone, and Young was out, and Uvalde had some time off, and so you look at how healthy the Rangers could have been, or were not, and still found a way to win a World Series. Garcia's hot, and so and then Garcia gets hurt, and we're like, okay, what's going to happen? Then Joe Dirt, Janikowski, who again could probably be a kicker, sounds like a kicker, comes in and does some things. And the very next day, when Garcia's out, Simeon comes up and steps up big. Young moves up in the lineup, steps up big, and the beginning of Game 5, I thought, well, are we about to win, or are we about to get no hit?
Yeah.
And then Uvalde
Yeah,
finds a way.
Stressful.
Like gap of innings from 1 to I believe 5th inning was pretty stressful because they had a number of runners on base. Yeah, and so what do you take away? What do you take away from this World Series and this postseason run? Give me your 3 highlights. You made a pretty nice little montage you sent out to us.
Yeah.
What would you say your 3 takeaways were from this ride?
Well, the number one takeaway is obviously, like, as Eric Nadel said, it's over. You're not dreaming. Like the fact that the team that I have watched extensively, since the early 90s, I can't remember the first Rangers game I went to because I know that I went to some previously, but I do remember being at games at the old, like Arlington Stadium and bleachers in the outfield, obviously we're just moving through all of that. And like that little slideshow that I sent out, just those highlights of we had the three playoff teams in the late 90s with Juan Gonzalez that was the only player that still knew how to play once like the Rangers lined up against the Yankees. They obviously make the playoffs 3 years out of 4 in that time, and they lose every game but one. And then go through the 2000s, which were not very good. We get to 2010, 2011, obviously being so close and then not getting it. So that culmination, that's my number one. I've been a diehard Rangers fan, knowing the ins and outs of players and things like that for over 30 years. It's really one of those things that when I sat and thought about that, I was like, you finally can, you won the World Series, and the second takeaway, and it leads from that first, is the flood of emotions that you talked about. We saw different fans and different reactions. I read different things on Twitter and stuff like that where people would talk about, and it almost makes me tear up just thinking about it, like memories of going to games with their dad or their grandpa who has passed away, and how much it would mean to those people, and and just it kind of chokes you up. Yeah.
Well,
so,
because you did see it, and there was some, of course, Nathan Lowe was calling back, his mom.
Uh-huh.
There's just a lot of emotions because, and you saw people. There were people that just literally it affected them and it broke them down, and just because you do feel like it's your professional level version of your high school team.
Right. Well, and so I have this flood of emotions of just nostalgia. I remembered, I've been to, I don't even know how many games, but triple digits of games in person, and watched thousands on TV. And I just thought of so many particular moments, like at the ballpark with different friends and things that happen, and people that you've gone to games with, and friends that you don't see anymore that you used to go to baseball games with. And I texted people after the game that I hadn't talked to in a long time, just because they were part of my Rangers memories that just were popping into my head, so it was just a weird, like I said, surreal moment. And obviously Eric Nadel's a Hall of Famer, but You're Not Dreaming, I think was the perfect call. And then the third thing is just you're excited to keep going,
Right.
And one thing that
you wonder what you're about to start,
right? Because it looks like the window is blown wide open to continue to be good. Now, on the flip side of that, 2012 was probably the best Rangers team that ever took the field. They collapsed at the end of that year, and that 2011 almost got it. 2012, 13, 15, and 16 all went to postseason baseball, but never to that same level. So you can't just look ahead. You've got to take in some of the moment, but this team's going to be good next year. So it's like we have and the young guys that are there. Obviously, we have Josh Young and Evan Carter who stepped up on, took that next step and looked like perennial all-star type players.
Season pickup like on a waiver wire in fantasy football that pushes you to the championship.
Right. And Carter
literally
did just
you to
to have that 21-year-old that stepped in and really made the team like that much better. And then you mentioned, DeGrom should be back at some point next year. The pitching staff will, I'm sure they'll add bullpen, and then we've got other young guys in the farm system, especially Wyatt Langford, who played in the College World Series this last summer and it ended up the year in AAA. The horizon is bright, and so not only did we win, but we're right back into being in that talk for next year. So it's just like,
well, and it's going to be good for baseball. And one of the stats that always comes out is it was the least watched World Series. But when it's your team,
I don't care.
But the Rangers are a great product in the Braves today. My takeaways before we got Coach Fullen coming on are, number one, and it's going to get to it, and I'm glad we got Coach Fullen coming on. Coaches matter, and culture matters. I mean, yes, the talent was there, but you got to find a way to get the talent to do what the talent needs to do. And Bruce Bochy walks in, stumbles in, pimps on out to the pitcher's mound, and brings a culture of championships. That's number one. I got 30 seconds before we go to break. Number two is that leaders having to step up, and they could have made excuses, and they could have let momentum happen, and they could have got down on their laurels, and Garcia could have been a whine. We could have been, oh, no, what are we going to do? But they found a way to do it. And so we'll talk more about it. But when we come back, again, congratulations to Texas Rangers, World Series champs. When we come back, Coach Fullen, district champions, not off, and doesn't have to go to El Paso. No. It's a little different. We'll let. Now, unfortunately, Coach, we just moved in, so it's like moving into a brand new house.
You can sit here and use that when you don't have to hold. But
Yes. Used to, you could go find places like, okay, here's the district rankings. You can open up the paper. You can't find standings for high school football unless I don't know where to find them. Like I was trying to look to see y'all's record, and I mean I know y'all are off tonight and district champs, and you don't have to go to El Paso. Did y'all's district go out that way too, or no? For the first round? For playoff round?
Our districts are down.
Yeah, I mean
we're
the district.
Different districts in Cooper and all that.
No, I know, but where's y'all's district first round go?
To El Paso.
Yeah.
But we got a home game for you.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm calling tonight.
I don't know who we're playing because they're all trying to fight for a seed tonight.
Well, that's what I'm calling tonight's game with Wiley and Cooper is the game for Miles.
Oh.
Whoever wins.
Oh yeah.
Whoever
wins.
wins.
To play for.
Whoever wins gets to play here, and whoever loses gets to.
Travel.
So what? I mean, are y'all? I know y'all won district.
We're 8-2.
Okay.
I don't know what we rank. I mean, Harris has us number 9. Probably number 1. I don't know the other one.
Is this your 5th year as the head coach? You know, used to you could open up the paper and the standings were everywhere.
I don't even watch the. I don't even. Joy Richards comes and does interviews, but I don't even get a paper anymore, and because I don't subscribe to it. I probably should get one through the school, but I do. The Big Country Preps is probably does a better job.
Yeah, the Big Country Preps
they got
do.
more guys looking for them.
Right. Yeah. So, will y'all just hang out tonight, or y'all gonna?
Yeah, well, I'll probably go to the Cooper Wild game. We're not. No, you don't send scouts anymore because with huddles, you basically pretty much get everything you need.
Right.
One click of the button. I mean, if it's close, sometimes there's still some advantages to watching people live just because you can see sideline demeanor and,
Right.
actually see how,
Some extracurricular.
or how big the kids are.
Did you, and I know high school coaches got everything going. Have you caught any of the some of the Dabo, the phone call he took on the show?
I heard about it. I haven't really watched it.
You know, there's my kid here, bro. We're all good. Welcome back to the Hodge Pack, sports life and everything in between. It's time for our Big Country Electric My Town segment, brought to you by Big Country Electric Cooperative. I was out in Big Country Electric Cooperative country last night in Rotan, and of course I preach out in Rotan, and Rotan unfortunately fell to the Westbrook Wildcats, but of course Westbrook's been pretty good the last couple of years, and Coach Matlock and those guys got them rolling. But we highlight a local player, coach, a program, and today we're highlighting a district champion coach and program, and a Tom Landry Award winner, athletic director, head football coach at Abilene High. Mike Fullen, coach, appreciate you get to be in the new digs here. Our second guest, we're still moving things around, but appreciate you being here this morning.
Thank you. It's great to be here this morning.
Yeah, we always joke we got a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle little journey to get to the studio, but we got a lot of mall walkers, I'm assuming, getting some exercise in, but we're glad you're here this morning, Coach. It's year 5, and we talk about places, of course, coaches like Coach Sandifer and Coach Faith that have been in places like, seems like they started the programs almost like Tom Landry. But Coach, what does it mean in year 5 and to see the success and to see the stability and the, I guess, I'm pretty sure, sorry, English teachers, the bought inness is probably not correct, that you're seeing in the fruits of the labor of stability?
Well, it's kind of what we set out to do. I mean, this is my 26th year at Abilene, but my 5th year as a head coach, and in 2019 I was brand new. Even though I've been a part of the staff, when you switch and go to the other side of the desk, there's a lot of things that change, and I probably wasn't the greatest head coach the first year, and a lot of it was just because I felt like I was on a treadmill going about 100. And then, there was a lot of things that went into 2020, with COVID and with my health issues. But while I was away, when I came back, I kind of told my wife, I said, I'm just going to be me. I'm going to be who I was before. I mean, they didn't hire me to be somebody else, and I didn't think I needed, but I wanted to kind of make the program my program, even though there was parts of it that were from Coach Ward and Coach Cox. But then we kind of wanted to set a standard of getting back into the playoffs on a regular basis, and then we've done that the last 4 years, and then with this senior class that we're freshmen in 2020, when we kind of reset ourselves. You want to make this shit. And then, the other goal we have, and it's everybody says they want to win state championship, but we want to be practicing on Turkey Day.
Right.
Because if you get to that point and you can win that game and you get into that arena, then anything can happen. And so, just to see the work, the time, the sacrifice that the coaches and the players put in, and the buy-in, and the culture that we have at Abilene High it was nice to see the outcome Friday night.
You mentioned it, and I was fortunate enough coaching 1 year at Merkel to get to Turkey Day, and it's almost like it's another round of the playoffs because you feel like there is another door open, and you kind of start looking, you start counting. Okay, we could be in Jerry World. I mean, that's not what you want to do, but it really does. It's almost like it's a whole new gamut, if you will, if you get to that point. But I wanted you mentioned it, and we saw it unfortunately this past week. Coach McDaniels out at not Oakland, Las Vegas. Great offensive coordinator, won some Super Bowls as an offensive coordinator. What was the biggest change from? I've always said I don't care if you coach JV football or JV basketball. When you go to that 7:30 Friday night start or that 8 o'clock varsity basketball start and move a chair, it changes. What do you think, besides learning to be you, was the biggest change from going from a coordinator assistant to the head coach?
Oh, just where you're in control of everything, and then it's not just football. Then you're the campus coordinator, so you're dealing with all the other sports and trying to establish cultures in every part. So it's you're not as much involved in X's and O's. And I have great coordinators that do an outstanding job. And that's one thing that I always thought that Coach Warren did a really good job of, is he just let us coach and he managed the team. And so that was the biggest change is the managing part of going from being a coordinator where you're just focused on your unit to where as a head coach you're focused and really trying to be responsible for everything. And so that was probably the biggest change, the biggest adjustment.
Well, and one of the things that I've always said that's huge, and there's not a better fraternity besides our military, and not a better fraternity and brotherhood than the Texas coaches, and how important it is on how many really good coaches, not only are in the state of Texas. I mean, we've seen some go on like Coach McGuire and Coach Browse, but you see the coaches from, whether it's 6A all the way down to Coach Matlock out at Westbrook. The good coaches and good quality coaches that we have here in the big country.
Oh yeah, I mean there's really good football in the big country, and a lot of good football players, a lot of good coaches, and I think one of the things that makes it is the consistency that you have out here. People are here, they don't come here and leave, they come here and they stay, and they build relationships with the community, they build relationships with the players. They set standards within the programs, and that's huge. And I'd like to give a shout out today is actually Texas High School Coaches Day. The legislation passed today in honoring the Texas High School coaches, and so I'd like to give a shout out to all the coaches for what they do and the impact they have on kids, community, schools. And so it's nice to be recognized for a day for something that you do every day. And so I'd just like to give a shout out to all the coaches out there.
Well, and Coach, you mentioned one of the things in your 26 years at Abilene High, whether it's coordinator, assistant, the head football coach, this profession has changed.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, and people still getting into it, but you see guys like Coach Hutch at Stanford that says, you know what, I'll come back out and do it.
Yeah.
The love that coaches have, I miss it. I mean, there's winning a game you're not supposed to, upsetting somebody, or lifting up that championship when it hadn't been done in a while. All those things. It's hard. I mean, don't get me. I love the co-op, and it's hard to get that sometimes as the other professions that people have. And so the fact that the legislation had a day for coaches across the board, and today that's a pretty cool statement, because what you guys do and the impact that these coaches make, boys side, girls side, is such a huge impact.
Well, absolutely. I mean, when you think about it, it's everybody that's in any profession you know, has been impacted by a coach at some point in their life. And so when you're in this profession, and they say it all the time, and it's cliche, you know, you're gonna impact more kids than most people will in their lifetime. But it's true. I mean, everybody. I'm in this profession because of coaches. You know, people go on to do great things in other professions, but where they learned work ethic, where they learned discipline, where they learned team concept, depending on what job they're in, it was from being a part of a team and having a coach. So you know, it's a profession that is it's over criticized and underappreciated at times, but you know, I really like it.
Oh, no doubt, it's definitely an impact. So, Coach, let's talk about this season. You've got you get a night off before the playoffs start next week. How do you? Let's just pick that. How do you like that? I mean, opportunity to get healed up and all those things, and maybe get a break. How do you handle this week, knowing that some people would be well, we start basketball next week. You don't start basketball next week. You got a playoff game, and you get a night off, and kids get a night off. How will you handle the next 7 days?
Well, you know, like where our opportunity week landed. That's what we call it. It's not open. It's not off. It's an opportunity to get better. You know, lands at the end of the season, and that can be good if you're in a position that we're in, where you know you're going to be, in the playoffs. And so, really, what we did this week, we practiced a couple of days during their gave them off because, when you go straight through like we did, and it's a grind. It's a grind on the coaches. Excuse me. It's a grind on the kids. So you want to still do some. We did some practicing, but it's a psychological break because you're not putting a game plan together. You're not, you kind of having the ability to take your release your mind a little bit. And so really, what we've done is we practice Tuesday and Wednesday. We're in the weight room Monday. We'll be in the weight room today, and then we'll take off. And then we really won't know who will be playing until tomorrow morning. But we know we'll be playing in Abilene, and once that starts, we'll do some breakdown of film tomorrow, and then we'll come together on Sunday, and coaches will get plans together, and then we'll get right back on our schedule of what we had all season Monday, and depending on what day we play, whether it's Thursday or Friday, we'll adjust that. But we'll know all that stuff this weekend. But to go through and go 6-0, man, it's tough. It's a grind. But our guys, they set a goal, and we didn't really talk about winning a district championship. When the district started, we just said go 1-0. And that's the whole goal. I know that sounds cliche, but you got to believe it because you got to just focus on one game at a time, and just focus on what it's going to take to go 1-0. And if you can do all that, hopefully good things happen.
Well, and I want to end it with this because we're going to talk about it a little bit later. Of course, I'm a big Dabo Swinney fan. Everybody knows I like Clemson. He's caught some flack on not being a big NIL guy, but this past week he took a phone call, which is always a gamble. And the guy basically blasted him for having an $11 million salary and going only 4-4. And Coach Swinney just said, what we've done here, winning 2 national championships in 7 years, they hadn't won anything in 35 years. They've had 12 10-plus win seasons. Sometimes it's great to have expectations, but sometimes appreciating what those coaches are doing, whether it's at Abilene High, whether it's at Wiley, whether it's at Cooper, whether it's at Jim Ned, sometimes when expectations and reality don't meet, it's pretty tough.
Yeah, and I mean, it's unfortunate that it's the world we live in now where we're in a microwave society where everybody wants immediate results, and there's not really appreciation for things. It's all about what have you done for me lately, and when you got people that can call in and or write in, or with the day and age of social media, it's a shame that people do that. I mean, easiest answer is you got your opinion and you can go kick rocks for all I care and then get off. But yeah, I mean, it's you create a monster, you got to feed the monster, and I mean, I think Dabo just maybe caught on a bad day or just fed up with it. But I got a ton of respect for what he's done and his program, and so I mean, some people don't appreciate what you've built, you know. And I mean, when you're somewhere as long as he's been there, you're gonna have peaks and valleys, you know. And I mean, and also with the way that college football is now, there's going to be a lot more parity, and so it's going to be harder to do, you know, make dominant runs every year.
Right. Well, before we let you go, we got to ask you: do you think the Cowboys can win in Philly on Sunday?
You know, I don't know. That's going to be a tough place to play, but and to be honest with you, I'm a football fan. I'm not a diehard fan of anything. I just want to see good football, and you know, but it would be awesome to see them win. I hope they do.
Yeah. Well, one Eagles team that is rolling is the Abilene High Eagles, and Coach, we appreciate you taking the time to come in this morning. You did make a very good point. You get to play at home next week, and so somebody from El Paso gets to decide what journey they want to come east on. And so, congratulations on the district championship. Congratulations on the Tom Landry Award, and again, a district championship. And good luck throughout the playoffs.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right, it's Coach Full. When we come back, we're going to hear Misty. We're going to see what her thoughts are about the Texas Rangers, and plus, we will talk. We'll open up Misty's bag right after this.
So y'all, how long y'all been in here?
This is show number 2.
Oh yeah.
So we still got a few things. Obviously, they're supposed to put this back in. I tell them, let me get rid of this keychain because it looks like a keychain. But I was nervous on how soon we could get in because we started at 7. But they opened that door pretty early, and at 7:30, Milwaukee started going to town. So we're excited because we'll be able to open this up, we'll be on air. You can tell when you're on air.
So when I leave, like I wouldn't give another door, walk all the way around taking this door, and if I go out, I'll go out that
You
door.
can actually go out here.
Okay, appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. I'll send you the press box. I'll get to be in it.
Are we?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
I think it's on.
I leave the radio for Raleigh. So we'll be in there. I said, it's on that game for miles tonight.
I'll have to look on Facebook to see.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Are we streaming?
Yep,
Okay. I just want to make sure this is not like.
it's all up on it.
Yeah. Let's not have that happen. Can you see it? Is it fine? Do I need to move
You
it?
can come look.
Oh, okay. Well, but then I won't be sitting here.
You want me to sit there?
How do I see myself? How do I look at it?
Do you want me to sit there? You're right. I mean,
Is it fine?
yeah, I mean,
Okay.
you're there. He's there.
Okay. But we don't need to scoot. We're good.
No.
Okay.
You
Cool.
just need your keychain microphone.
Oh, funny. I told Joshy, I was listening on the way, and I was like, I got a little emotional listening to Josh talk.
He almost threw up. So
I literally was. I was like, what's wrong with me? It is. It's emotional, man.
I'm an emotional girl. Terry
Emotional
Clark song.
wreck.
Are y'all going to the junior league thing today?
No, I don't think so.
Where's your softball tournament?
Here, yes, I'm excited. It's Frat Fest, so our girls are Savannah Bananas. Every team dresses up. It was supposed to be last weekend for Halloween, but then it got rained out. So,
Yeah, I was supposed to play in the club championship.
but I would much rather play this weekend than last weekend
Oh.
because,
I've got a wedding tomorrow.
Oh.
I've got Cowboys on Sunday. Did y'all figure out what y'all wanted to do?
Leanne doesn't want to go there because we're going to the ranch. She doesn't want to get home and go out. So we'll have to,
Thanks, Lee.
yeah.
Was that still recording?
oh,
I don't know. I don't even know how to tell if it was.
we were talking sports the entire time in there. Could you hear us talking? Okay, good. That's good. I was wondering if we were being loud or if the walls were thin. Oh my gosh, I'm freezing. I'm such a little wuss.
I'm sorry. Leanne.
Me too. It's unfortunate. I didn't have to go through the tunnel. I'm so excited.
You're gonna drape yourself.
The coat of many colors. I am such a freaking wuss. Like I am. I know. I'll admit it and own it. Look at my new Stanley. Isn't it so cute?
I noticed that. It's very, very cute.
It's
You're right.
bright pink. My coworker got me that. I love it.
Sweet of
So
them.
cute. I was like, how do I look at myself?
Such a goof.
I am.
Good morning. How you doing? We are rocking and rolling here on the Hodge Pack on 106.9 The Country Giant. We're glad that you're with us. Don't forget you can catch the old Anson Tigers tonight. Texas A&M Aggies tomorrow. Of course, the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday will be taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, we now have everybody. Misty, how are you doing this morning? Didn't have to go through the tunnel.
I'm fantastic. Yeah, I'm excited. The doors were open. I'm ready.
Do you ever think you'll come up here and mall walk just for grins?
Maybe when I'm older. Like I could see me.
How old do you have to be to mall walk?
I don't
Is there-
know.
Is there a
Can we get it?
predetermined?
Let's interview somebody that's here.
Oh, when we get these things open,
Let's
we will
do it.
We will totally. We'll do that. Especially like when football starts changing and goes away. We'll have our mall walker of the week.
Yes.
They just come in.
I love it.
What lap are you
How
on,
old
ma'am?
do y'all think? Like 70?
I don't think you have to be an age. It's just walking.
True. But like to meet here, like, hey y'all, we're gonna meet at 7:30 and we're gonna do
You could
75
be-
laps
you could be
or whatever.
37 or however old you are, 40-ish, whatever we are.
I am not 40-ish. Do not put that bad juju on me.
I didn't. I pointed to us two. You are 37, right?
Yes.
Or 38.
Keep going.
No.
Let's go. We're going to open up your bag. Are you 39 and a half? So, Misty, we talked a little Texas Rangers. Tell us how you kind of took it in and how you. I mean, I know the Astros didn't win, but
Oh my gosh.
how did you feel with the Rangers winning?
Oh no, it was fantastic. You know, the saying there's no place like home. There's no place like sports. I mean, it was just absolutely incredible. How I was telling Josh while you were doing your interview, how can you not like the Texas Rangers? Just watching that series, all of the interviews, pregame and postgame, all of the players, just such a classy group, and the coaching staff. I mean, just everybody involved in the franchise, and for it to be their first win. I have to admit, whenever Maddox was giving his post-game interview, I mean, I was tearing up just hearing him, the emotion in his voice. Obviously, I can't see grown men cry. It's weird. And then I get weird and start crying too. Just special. I don't know. It was just very special.
Maddox is the lone Ranger, literally, that was a part of all three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you think about him and being a part of that, and just, I don't know, it was really, really, really neat to see. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no. And I think when I was listening on the way in, him talking about how he's grown up this whole time and gone to these games. I mean, that's how I feel about the Dallas Cowboys. So I can understand that just love of the game, and like, my team finally did it. We finally did it. And as a sports fan, I mean, it's just amazing. So,
Well, and I think for us, seeing some of the older people that got teary-eyed on the Rangers, even though we were around when the Cowboys won the 3 Super Bowls for our generation, if it were to happen again, of course, it'd be crazy, because if it was very similar to like a high school today, you win the baseball one, which I know sounds weird because it's not in spring anymore, and then you win a Super Bowl, it would just be one of those, wow, maybe it was contagious. Maybe the basketball team got good because of the football team. And so it'll be interesting. Pray today at 12, but it's pretty cool.
yeah, no, I'm super excited. Congrats to the Texas Rangers. Very well deserved. Yeah, it was fantastic, fun series to watch. And so, yeah, I'm glad that they won, and looking forward to now, them rubbing off on the Dallas Cowboys, hopefully.
I'm going to open up your bag.
So we're going to talk a little music today.
Okay.
You know, I mean, we are on the radio, lots of music. You know, one thing I was thinking, and this just hit me, how did they come up with the theme music for like the World Series and like NBA Finals? Have you ever thought about that? It's always a different song. Like one year it's like Adele, the next year it's like some rapper. I don't know how they come up with that, but then it becomes like the theme song.
Well, like for the Masters, it's the same little piano music. One shining moment is at the end of March Madness. Of course, dun 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 dun.
Yeah, they just right. But I mean, I don't know. Anyway, that just hit me. So squirrel. So, what song did you jam to in high school that you are embarrassed to admit now?
I'm not embarrassed about anything.
Well, that's good, Josh.
Then what's your song?
Yeah.
Oh, the song list is pretty cringeworthy, but I mean, I'll own it. I mean, there's several just really, really bad songs that I mean, there's the obvious that comes to mind would be like any Vanilla Ice or Sir Mix-a-Lot. You know, it's not really like, you know, those weren't like crowning achievements in the musical landscape.
But Baby Got Back is probably the song that pays Sir Mix-a-Lot's rent.
And Ice
yeah.
Ice Baby.
Yeah,
I mean,
That is the song.
I still jam to Ice Ice Baby. You
Of
don't?
course you do.
No, I mean, it's a go-to karaoke song for me, personally. It's not for y'all. I'm shocked.
Negative.
My microphone almost fell over. I don't know what happened. I don't even know that I touched
Josh just Steven Tyler over there, Aerosmith. Little twirl.
it. Yeah, I do like that. I have the Aerosmith Steven Tyler mic stand. I need to learn how to. Maybe I need a nice like scarf.
We'll get those ordered.
Please do.
All right, so music. You know, Ice Ice Baby is one, of course.
If you're truly embarrassed, though, are you going to say it now on the radio?
Yeah,
I mean, if you're truly like
there's
embarrassed.
one that came to my mind when I was thinking about songs. I heard this song the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I remember jamming to this song, and I don't even know why, but it goes out to it's Chumbawamba.
Well, that's yeah.
Do y'all
Yeah,
remember
come
that
on.
song?
And I get up again.
Yes.
And you're never going to keep me down.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about that, there's a whole list of the one-hit wonders. Like, can you name another Chimbo Chumbawamba whatever song?
I don't think there is one.
Yeah, I
No,
mean,
I don't think there is either.
but
They
it's
sing one song.
and then it like goes
Or
into this
Norwegian.
weird
Or
ballad
Norwegian.
in the middle of the song.
Yeah.
I don't know. That is the
Well,
weirdest song
to me-
ever.
But you
Other
drink a
one-
whiskey drink, you drink a
Yeah.
vodka. You
I
drink a
love
beer.
He loves it.
We
I
sing
love it.
songs that are about the good times. We sing songs that are about the bad times.
We have
Oh
found
my
Josh.
God, I'm dying. Okay,
We have found
karaoke.
Josh's karaoke.
Yeah, he can do it.
The other thing, the one song that I always just enjoyed, and we can Google it here in a minute, see when it came out, was I Could Walk
500 miles.
and I could.
That's also a terrible
and Pod's
song.
favorite was probably Barbie Girl. I could see him jamming.
No, that's what I would come out to as an encore. When I sang three great Garth Brooks songs, so my encore they would think would be another Garth Brooks song. No, it's Barbie Girl.
Oh my gosh. I
Yeah,
do
he's
it.
actually got that planned
I
out.
can
That's
do a
nice.
good Barbie Girl
Actually, we're
karaoke
probably
also.
gonna come back to that.
There's one song that I've not listened to in a long time that just popped into my head because of this that I don't know. One hit is probably not even accurate because I doubt it was a hit, but it was Jimmy Ray. Do you remember that song?
What's the song?
It's like who wants to know? Who wants to know about it?
I don't know,
I'm
Jimmy
gonna-
Ray.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah,
We're gonna
please.
see.
Ray
we-
Vaughan,
we're going to
maybe.
see.
I was thinking Sugar Ray.
No,
Yeah.
that's bad too, though.
Do you remember Informer?
I don't know what those words are, but yes.
In Farmer?
Informer.
Oh, I was like, Farmer?
There's a song called
Farmer.
That's the West Texas version.
It was another Vanilla Ice type
Really?
rapper, and that was his one song.
Oh, that also there's one that made me think of.
Marky Mark has like a one that I can't think of.
Did House of Pain have any other songs besides Jump Around?
No, but that's not embarrassing. You should drop
Yeah,
that, baby.
definitely
Oh,
still
yeah.
Jump Around to this day.
No, but I mean, to me, they're
Yes.
the one-hit wonder. Like, if you ever go on tour, you literally wait till the last song because you don't know any of the other ones because they can't. It's like, I'll never forget, somebody started yelling Watermelon Crawl at Crazy Bird. He's like, if I play that now, y'all
You'd
leave.
go home.
Yes.
I did
Can't
go
do
to.
that.
I have had that exact same thing at a concert where some people are like yelling to sing a song, and they're like, "No, we have to play that last, or y'all will just leave."
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, at least you steer into it, you know.
But you
like-
know what? Here's the thing, and I love about music, and that's what I love about 106.9 Country Giant is
Oh.
This is that song. Hodge was looking around like, what is that?
He was
What
like,
is that?
what
I
button
could
did
hear it
I
in my
push?
headphones. I could hear it in my headphones. I was like, where's that coming from?
Yes. Dun, 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 dun,
yeah.
dun. Oh, yeah. I would totally
it's
jam
an
that.
awful song.
Yeah, Stevie Ray. Well, like last night. So last night I went to Rotan for the Westbrook Rotan game, and again, unfortunately, the Yellowhammers came up short. But they did score 2 points and got to the second half, which was a big deal.
2 points.
Well, they got to the second half against the number one team in the state, but their band, Westbrook's band, was playing Sweet Caroline. Then they played the Electric Slide. And my point was, good music never really dies.
True.
I mean, all these songs that still listen to, and last night I did a Devo after for the fifth quarter, which I guess is technically the fourth quarter because they didn't have to play all 4 quarters. And I said Ice Ice, and these junior high kids could finish the lyric. And I said, don't stop. They could finish the lyric.
Yeah.
And that's my point about music. Like here, you can listen to these great 80s, 90s country, of course, Texas country. Here, great music really just never dies. And so even if you get knocked down, you're going to get up again.
It's just such a cringy song.
And you don't mind walking 500 miles. And Josh is going to probably come us back in the 8 o'clock hour with every word of Stevie Ray's, whatever that was.
It was Jimmy Ray,
Oh, Jimmy Ray.
not Stevie Ray.
Sugar, Stevie. There's so many Rays.
Jimmy Ray, Stevie Ray. But again, that's Misty.
What?
Huh?
What about the Spice Girls? I know that Misty probably listens
Oh,
to the Spice Girls.
also another karaoke contender to this day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What is it called? What's that? We got about
Oh my gosh.
Wannabe.
Wannabe, right? If you want to be my
Yeah,
lover.
yeah.
Yeah,
Man,
you
do
got to
know
get
it.
with my
You do
friends.
know it.
Okay, you got to
Yeah,
get with my
yeah.
friends.
Yeah, all my friends. And so all our friends are going to come
Ace
back.
of Base, the sign.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
That's all the time. Really, hey,
It really
Love
opened
Shack
my
Baby.
eyes.
The Love Shack would be another anything by the B-52.
What about the ballad, like "My Heart Will Go On" by Celine Dion?
Oh,
Because
yeah, that-
Titanic
the
was
Titanic
huge.
song.
Well, End of the Road was pretty fantastic.
I could belt that.
Hey, but we are
We've
going
come
to move into this
to
time.
the end of the road.
And that is the end of the first hour. We're moving into the second hour brought to you by Coleman County State Bank. Head over to ColemanBank.com. When we come back, we're going to talk about how important coaches are, and I'm going to defend Davo. We'll be back right after this.
That was awesome. Road. We hit that. I think we hit that note. I think we harmonized well. It was so funny when you played that. Hodge was like, he freaked.
I thought it was coming through the internet computer.
He was like, Jesus, is that you?
Yeah. Are you coming back?
Are you calling me home?
It was so funny, his face. Like sheer panic.
He did absolutely.
Crying. Like literally crying. Oh my God. Y'all, one time I was singing My Heart Will Go On and my crush walked in my house
While you were singing,
with my brother. And yes, I was literally thought I was the only one home and he busted me and I was belting out Celine Dion.
Good morning. Good morning.
Oh, it was so bad. I was mortified.
I'm like kind of, I don't know, borderline Rain Man when it comes to music. Like I hear songs and never forget them.
Obviously, I'm so impressed like that he just busted out Chumbawamba.
Like, not busted out, but like, didn't have to change.
He's like, I get knocked
you know,
down.
Well, no, sometimes you have to sing it
Yeah,
to know it. He was just like,
I get knocked down.
no, but he just like was reading. I'm trying to think of a song I know. I showed up in boots.
Oh, that's so
Blame
funny.
it all on my roots. I showed up in boots.
Yeah, so funny. That was really funny.
At least they recorded it.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're like back and recording and streaming and all
Well,
the things.
sometimes
Is it stopping?
it's stopping prematurely, which is not good. Premature stopulation's not good.
Yeah, I've never been a fan.
What am I looking up? What am I looking at? I go no down. Oh, that's gonna be my
See,
head.
now we're gonna be singing it all freaking day. Is it kissing?
Kissing the night away.
Why?
It's about getting drunk.
Right.
That's the whole song.
Right,
I didn't
no.
know that when I was like in
No.
middle school.
We're all kissing. We're all jamming it. We're like 12.
It was a song about getting drunk and falling down. That is really what the song is about.
I'm crying. That's so funny. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That was good. Oh man.
Majors looking to make history. Mitch Garver and just play is on the
Gosh, yeah, that was so funny.
back on third and 2 outs. Give me that.
I'm not gonna lie though, I'm glad that like they won the World Series, but I was kind of looking forward to watching a game tonight.
Well,
Like I wanted
needed-
to win
I
at
needed
home.
the stress-
I was not.
I needed the stress to
I was
go
not.
away.
I did not want to win
I
there. I
did.
wanted to win at home.
I did not.
Yesterday, my boys were asking me like, "So when are we gonna watch the Rangers?"
Yeah.
You know, like, and
It's gonna be
they're
a
like-
minute.
they're like, "Oh yeah, they won the World Series.
Yeah,
Like it's over."
I know.
Like,
but it's like, man, you just want like one more game. And I just, you love a home win. It would have really
Yes.
been nuts if it would have happened at home. We should have gone and we could have done the show somewhere up there and gone to the parade.
if we would've
That would have
found
been
out,
so fun. I know. That's what's so hard is like, you just don't know.
Welcome back to the Hodge Pack. You hear Scott Van Pelt giving the call of Marcus Simeon's home run to make it 5-0 in Game 5 to make sure we didn't get a Game 6. No doubts, didn't happen. Welcome back to the Hodge Pack as we move into our 8 o'clock hour brought to you by Coleman County State Bank. They're taking care of you each and every day. Find them at colemanbank.com. We want to move into, again, we were talking about Game 6 and wanted Game 6, and some of us thought it would be a good idea for Game 6. Here's why I didn't want Game 6. Now, if you could have told me, like on Back to the Future 2, that I would know it would happen, I would be all for it. But the fact that I would not have known because you'd had to play it. Number 2, when you have a Game 6, momentum would have changed a little bit, I'm thinking. Number 3, when you have a Game 6, it always gives you a chance for a Game 7. So that's why I was glad it was over. My parents had a chance they had tickets, so they're going to be at the parade today, so congratulations, go to the parade. Anyway, I'm glad there's not a Game 6. I'm glad it's over. We now can focus on the Cowboys. Well, not yet. I want to enjoy the parade, all those things. I'm glad we don't play football tomorrow in Dallas. We don't play football at all tomorrow in Dallas. We're in Philly. But I'm glad it's Sunday. But that's why I did want to get 6.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I get that, but also, man, to win on our own soil would have been extra sweet. Soil. I just think that would have been extra sweet. Anytime you can take it at home, but it's also cool to take it somewhere else too, because then it's like, haha, we took it from you on your home turf. So,
well, and I think the other thing that we have to look at is, Josh, we talked about how excited we are about next year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're going to be good next year.
Like for Arizona, was it their time? Was that their one chance? How, they're in a West that's very difficult with the Dodgers.
I think it was, and yeah, they're going to be let down.
And so it's one of those, you got there, you'll have a NLCS ring that you can wear if you want to. But anyway, so Texas Rangers, World Series champs, can't wait to see what their ring looks like. I'm sure it'll be amazing. Maybe it'll be as big. I mean, maybe they make everything bigger in Texas.
They're
Maybe
probably going to send us one.
Yeah, we're getting one for sure.
I'm sure you could get one for just a little bit of cash. But speaking of coaches, again, unfortunately, Coach Bobby Knight passing away at the age of 83, same day that the Rangers won the World Series. But coaches, one of the things I don't think we understand is how, and I wrote in our notes, there are just not a lot of good coaches, and there's even fewer great coaches. And we saw this year what a coach can do with a team. Now, granted, 2 years ago they lost 100 games. They battled through last year, came up, didn't do very good, and then now you're World Series champs. Bruce Bochy. This past week, Dabo Sweeney, I'm assuming it's on his weekly radio show, takes a call from a kid named Tyler. I say a kid. I don't know how old he is. He sounds kind of young. We'll listen to some of this clip. We're going to play it from Greeny, which, again, check out Got Your Number, Greeny's book. But I want to talk about a little bit. I got to make sure we'll catch it however much I want to listen to it. But talk about how appreciating what kind of coach that you have, even though you may want a little bit more. Listen to this.
Well, the team is 4-4, and here's how the coaches are. You can have all the opinions that you want. I don't know how old you are. I don't really care. But let me tell you something. We won 11 games last year, and you're part of the problem, to be honest with you, because that is part of the problem. It's people like you that all you do is it's the appreciation, the expectation is greater than the appreciation, and that's the problem. And so, week one, whatever you can't close again in the street, that's happened 3 times in 150 years. So if you want to know why, look at the ATF and national championship for 35 years. We won 2 in 7 years, and there's only 2 other teams that can say that: Georgia and Alabama. Okay? Is this a bad win? Is this a
Again, that's Dabo Sweeney on his radio show, taking a call from Tyler. Josh, you always say sometimes taking calls is dangerous.
Yeah, I would never do it.
But again, the kid's name's Tyler, and he goes off basically talking about how Dabo is making $11.5 million, has a pretty big contract, and is asking, basically, are you worth that because you're 4-4 this year? And then Dabo kind of goes off on him, as you could hear, and it gets a little more intense, and how things years ago. And my point of all this, and the reason I bring it up, we see coaches leave, like Coach McDaniels. He's been a head coach twice, been successful as offensive coordinator, doesn't do very well. Now the Raiders have got to figure out, who am I going to get? I bring this up for a couple of reasons. One, Mike McCarthy. 2, Bruce Bochy. And really, you can even go Bobby Knight and Dabo. What Dabo's done at Clemson, again, part of that is I'm a Clemson guy. I mean, I say Clemson. Josh mentioned that
Yeah.
Again, you're welcome.
Homer.
Facebook Live. I like Clemson, and I like Dabo.
Where does that come from?
Honestly, I started a few years ago when I was just watching Dabo, how he carried himself when he got the job, and talking about his faith, and he was pretty vocal about it, just open about his faith, and just when I talked to people, that he was pretty genuine. In fact, our very first guest on the Hodge Pack almost 5 years ago was Tim Beret, who was the sports information director of Clemson and did play-by-play for Clemson. And he actually was on right after they just won their first national championship. And so, when I asked him, so is Dabo who we see off camera? He said, Dabo is legit. He said he'll go visit girl, like if soccer recruits are coming in, he'll go visit with them. He'll talk to other teams and all that. So I've just been a Dabo fan from the beginning. I know some people say he whines and all that, and maybe I'm a whiner too. But they've won 2 national championships. And the only other people that have done what they've done is Georgia and Alabama. And there's a lot of schools out there that would love to do what they did. And then you look at what happened at Tech with Chris Beard. Did he leave and go to Texas? Yes. But he could have stayed at Tech and done what he'd done for the rest of his career, and statues would have been built. Sometimes I think fans, and yes, do we want more? Did the Cowboys want another Super Bowl? 100%. But I think sometimes we forget and don't appreciate who we have. There was a stretch, we got to get rid of McCarthy. We're so close, we get rid of McCarthy. And you win double-digit wins for a number of years in a row. Dak Prescott, get rid of Dak Prescott. Greg's probably listening. Get rid of Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott has a winning record. He is a good quarterback. I think sometimes we just don't appreciate who we have as coaches. Say we get rid of Mike McCarthy, who are you going to get? You get rid of Dabo, who are you going to get? Because if you don't want him at Clemson, there's a ton of coaches that are going to take Dabo like that. So I just think sometimes we need to appreciate the coaches and what they've done at places, even when the valley may start at that school.
No, I agree. I've definitely been a McCarthy. I wouldn't say hater. That's a strong word, but there's definitely been times where I'm like, what is he doing? Mostly with his clock management skills. There's been several times where he's blown that completely. I don't know y'all's opinion, but I feel like he's doing better. Like, don't get me wrong. He still calls some really stupid plays, and I don't understand why. This season, I'm just like, why did you just call a run play? Like, but okay. But in my opinion, I feel like it's gotten better with him calling the plays, or I've seen him kind of, I don't know, come into his own. I don't know if that's the right phrase, but I've liked him more this season than I have in the past.
Well, and so like, for example, right now, one of the coaches that's being looked at is, does he need to move on, and should Robert Kraft do, is Bill Belichick. But then you start looking at what Bill Belichick did, won 6 Super Bowls. Yes, could have been Tom Brady, but there had to have been a combination.
Oh, absolutely.
And yes, Tom Brady went 1-1 at Tampa Bay, but he also had a combination of those 6. And so understanding, hey, at what point does the valley need to say, hey, all right, you've done good, but your time it's time. And how you do that, because we see these different coaches throughout, or these different teams that can't ever have a coach. It's a revolving door. They're not patient. You know, Coach Fullen's been there 5 years, and they don't give them enough time, and they start flipping coaches left and right. And the Las Vegas Raiders, they flip coaches about as much as they flip cities, which is a lot. Yeah. And so my point is appreciating who you have. Now, I'm not saying there's not times where you've got to move on. You know, I mean, I experienced that at Roby. I mean, there's times when you need to move on. I probably could have left Roby sooner and would have been better off.
Yeah, bye Jason Garrett sooner.
But like at Roby, I go 7 straight years with winning plenty of basketball games, and they made bad decisions. But anyway,
it is what it is.
Yeah, check out the gold balls. Not there's many since I left. But
burn.
But my point is appreciating what coaches do, appreciating what they are, and I think sometimes fan bases get itchy, if you will, and want to be moving on. But so my point of Dabo, my point of coaches that have had success, and when the valley starts to come, you got to see how long that valley starts before you just start ready to chunk them out the door.
What is that time frame? Like, in your opinion, how long do you let like an NFL coach be in the valley?
You know,
I mean, is that like 2 years, 3 years?
Well, let's think about it. Of course, they won, but the standard in Pittsburgh is probably still to win Super Bowls. Tomlin's won one, but he is still the consistency of the Steelers have been the fact that they stayed with Mike Tomlin. And really, for the longest time, the reason a lot of people don't like the Cowboys is because they fired Tom Landry. Was it time to move on from Tom Landry? Maybe. But how you do it would have been more beneficial for Jerry. Jimmy Johnson. How many Super Bowls could we have won if Jimmy Johnson and Jerry don't have their problem and Jimmy leaves? I mean, Barry Switzer wins a Super Bowl simply because he had a pulse. I mean, Josh or I or you or any of our listeners, we could have dialed in, and the caller number 5 gets to be the Super Bowl, gets to be the coach of the Cowboys that year, would have won a Super Bowl.
So you're saying give them longer than a few years? I
think the franchise sometimes has to deal with that. I mean,
what do you think,
we
Josh?
may have to roll into the come back in this segment. I mean,
Well, I mean, I think that obviously you've got to. I don't know about what time we have. I can't see the board from here, but you have to make a judgment call because I mean, you can if it's just like, oh, well, stay with your guy because you might not do better. Well, you can do that forever, and you can end up being.
well, but I think a lot of it is you can.
Because
see
I mean,
the
we saw
progress
you said Jason Garrett. I think we saw that specifically with Jason Garrett.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, like,
we kept
he
him way
stayed
too
there.
long.
He stayed there. He
right.
stayed there. He stayed there. Okay, we're not winning.
Well, and I
anything.
think the problem with Jason was the sentimental value was what hurt Jerry because he was
And
ironically.
he lingered on because of that.
Ironically, if he'd have been that sentimental to Jimmy Johnson,
Yeah, we'd have more rings.
we would have Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick possibly in Dallas. Instead, you don't. And instead, you win 2 Super Bowls. You help turn the franchise around. They did it together. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Herschel Walker trade gave them a lot of groceries to go get. And so in all that, they were successful. But you look at a place, and I guess that's the question, and we'll put it out to listeners if those that are on Twitter at Hodge Pack, how long do you give? Folks that are watching on Facebook Live, how long do you give? Lauren, good morning. You're watching. How long do you give coaches? Texas has had a hard time with that. How long are they going to go with the Sarkisian? All right, tell you what, when we'll come back, we'll dive into some more of this because there's a coach down south that's got a huge buyout that's on this station. How long do they give? We'll be back right after this. Oh, that's good stuff. That's good stuff.
Boom!
It probably wasn't recorded.
Oh no, I hope not. Yeah, I'm ready to get these off so we can see the new Mall Walker of the Week. We should just pick one. Like, we'll just pick one and they won't even know that they're the Mall Walker of the Week. We'll just be like, look how cute they are. Yeah. Yes.
Josh, you all right? Close some deals?
Oh man, I'm looking for pictures.
For pitchers.
What do you think? I'm going to say 3 years for a coach.
I don't know. I mean,
But how do you measure it? What is the level of success?
You cannot. Like this is a
If you have
exercising futility.
3 losing seasons in a row,
All right, the Rangers.
but
fired-
what is that
The
number?
Rangers fired Chris Woodward.
What is that number?
Okay, they were not good. Chris Woodward lost a lot of games. They came back after firing him, and they won the World Series the first year after he's gone. Now, Bruce Bochy, you could say, has a lot to do with that, and I would venture to say yes, he does. But Chris Woodward had a bottom of the barrel team for the entire time he was with the Rangers.
Yeah, exactly. Hello. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, a lot of people do want to blame the coach, but you have to have talent. Like, you have to have. I love it. Like, you have to have something that you can produce.
Well, and that's the thing. It's
Oh, and don't forget, we got to do the cringeworthy
okay.
because we can. What time is it? Yeah. You got to plug that somewhere. Are we doing Knowing is Half the Battle?
No, we can do a little. I don't know.
When are we doing Allison?
I don't have. Well, she'll be the end. She's picked.
Oh, she's not. Okay, so like, we may have to
8:23. So I don't. I mean, the only thing I
barely.
think
So
of.
we can touch on the coaches thing for a couple minutes of the next segment, and then we
well,
can
we
go
can
into.
move on from coaches.
Yeah, we can go into knowing. Josh, do you have a knowing? He might be in the bathroom. Tell me.
So I don't. Now the only cringeworthy I have, but I can't remember it. So what happened? That I don't have any idea. Was there something that happened over this past week that triggered that?
I know there were just a couple of plays that I saw this week, and it just came to me when you emailed. I was thinking about it at work. I was thinking about some of these plays throughout the week, and
Mine's always going to be Joe Theismann because it was my first recollection of a kid of seeing that, watching it on Monday Night Football.
Well, and see, mine was literally present day. Like mine, and Josh and I talked about this when you were interviewing Coach, and we kind of had a similar thought on. No, I'm saying like this week, seeing plays that you're just like, oh God, like.
But I mean, I haven't seen it.
You have though. When we start talking about it, you're gonna be like, duh, like you have.
What was it in?
I'm not gonna tell you. Because we're gonna talk about it, and then you're gonna know. He said, "What was it in?"
Can I tell you how excited I am to be here? I've been here for years. I want to come to talk.
Oh,
I
I love
had
it.
nothing to say, but I just wanted to talk.
I love it.
No, Lane really did. He said, Mom, don't sound stupid. And this is what you need to do. I said, but I don't like your picks. I said, I want to do my own picks. And then my dad sent me picks.
Oh, I love it. Oh my
I
gosh.
mean,
Joshy's in the can.
Am I okay where I'm at to say?
Yeah, you're totally fine. Yeah, you're good.
you're on camera, but it's not a big deal.
Yeah. You're on candid camera.
Welcome back to the Hodge Pack, Sports Live and everything in between. Rocking and rolling our 8 o'clock hour again, brought to you by Coleman County State Bank. Again, our Restore Wellness. I think the Restore Wellness Center, maybe you needed that. Game 5 was that Restore Wellness pick-me-up of the week. Again, brought to you by Restore Wellness. Again, you can take care of them. They'll be glad to help you if you need maybe some blood work done, you need low T. They've got stuff to help women, all the things. If you need a little pick-me-up, head over to Restore Wellness. They'll be able to get you taken care of right there on the freeway. They'll get you taken care of. We can get Dr. Patterson in here one day and let him be picker. And I probably don't even know how bad my low T is. I need a little pick-me-up, but
Well, that
definitely.
number's higher than your picker score.
We
hope
probably
that's
all
really
need
bad.
a little help.
All right, so we'll talk about coaches. Maybe we'll roll that into a little bit later if we have time. But all right, so Misty, you came up with something that came up over the week about cringeworthy plays. Like, what's the most cringeworthy play? And I'll be honest with you, I can't think of one. Recently, there's one I cannot remember. There's two that always come into my mind. There's one, and I was trying to look it up. There was a Texas Tech tight end. And I'll never forget, he caught the ball, and when he turned and planted, his leg got hit, and it snapped like a tooth.
Yeah.
But I will never forget, my first one is no doubt Joe Theismann, Lawrence Taylor, Monday Night Football, 1980 something. And the reason is that I always remember that's like one of my first memories, because I remember watching it on Monday Night Football when it happened. And of course, it ended up probably ruining Joe Theismann's career. But that snap of Joe Theismann's leg will probably be the one that always will be mine.
And see, mine, really, this came from recent events of this week. And so, Josh, do you want to, because I think Josh and I were on the same page of, I think we're probably going to have similar answers on this question, because mine is specific to things I saw this week in sports.
Well, and we kind of talked about it, and I don't know if this is what you're going to say, but Alec Thomas missing that ground ball in the outfield that Jonah Heim hit, that, you know, it was a single that was going to score a run. He was trying to hustle it in. It went under his glove and rolled all the way to the wall. I mean, that is a cringe-worthy, you know, just like, glad it happened going our way instead of against us. But, you know, he had his Bill Buckner moment. Like, that's one of those things that, like, there'll be replays of that bonehead play in the outfield. And he's a young guy, and he has to live with that for the rest of his career. And that is cringe.
That makes me so sad for him, though. Like, I'm glad it went our way, but, like, obviously we have all been athletes that won many moons ago. But, like, and as a mom, like, if that's my kid, oh, my heart just broke for him in that moment because of that. Like, he will never not be associated with that particular play. And it was just, he was nervous. I mean, gosh, his back's against the wall. He knows what's about to happen. Then he gives up two more. It was just, yeah, that's what I was talking about. Just that. And that hadn't
You're
even
not talking
happened.
about injury. I was thinking.
Oh, no.
Oh,
I'm-
just
like
something
more
that's
like, oh my God,
man.
how did that even
Let's talk about,
happen?
So I was
just
thinking-
bonehead plays.
Right.
All right, so I was thinking injury. Like, some of mine is, you know, when you start going that, when I think cringe, I'm like, oh, that looked like.
Yeah, and you could like thinking like, oh God, that's painful. No,
Well,
mine
You
was
could, but
like,
you're wrong.
yeah, you're
Well,
wrong.
mine. I mean, and again, it wouldn't happen the other day. But you talk about a guy that had to live with it forever. Ace Ventura had a line in a movie for Scott Norwood. Scott Norwood is known as laces out Dan, missing the field goal that would have gave the Buffalo Bills a Super Bowl, misses it, and they go 4 straight and never win one. So that would be, to me, would be a very cringe-worthy that stayed with a guy probably forever. I don't know if Scott Norwood is living in a cave somewhere. I don't know what he's doing. But so that would be one of mine, would be Scott Norwood missing again. I don't have anything recent that triggers in my mind, but Scott Norwood missing that. And of course, find the wall, win it all. Nelson Cruz is a pretty big one.
I mean, there's so many, but yeah, what started this for me, I mean, we could talk about Christian Walker. Obviously, the bobble at first. Oh my gosh. As I, again, went in our way, love to see it. But bless his heart. I mean, it literally looked like 8U softball. I mean, he just butterfingers at first, and then that was game 4. He was Gold Glove Award winner the previous year. Then game 3, he blows past third. Like, coach is like, hold up, and then here he goes and gets. That was another one where I was like, bro, like, what are you doing? So my cringeworthy player play of the week goes to thank you, Christian Walker, first baseman for the Diamondbacks. And also the Jets game. Did y'all see the Jets game? That was also a cringy football game, which Hodge may disagree because he's kind of on the Jets, I feel like, a little bit.
It was a terrible game. I mean, it was.
I had to pull this up because, yeah, the combined, because, I mean, it was a punt party, first of all. Combined 15 points between the two games in the first half are the most since the NFL collected that data in 1991, and the 24 total punts in the game were more than the total points scored of 23 points. There were 0 third down conversions in the first half, 0 for 18. And the Jets didn't convert 1 until the 2-minute and 19-second mark of the fourth quarter. Giants had 7 total passing yards off 6 completions. So that would be my cringeworthy game of the week. Like, watching it, I'm like, what am I even watching? And somehow, the Jets eased by and got the win. But, man, the whole thing was cringeworthy.
Well, and that's the other hard part about a lot of these Thursday night games, even like last night was, and I blame myself. You should not play a fantasy football guy unless he's an absolute stud on Thursday, because it seems like they never.
Yeah, it always goes
right.
And like next week, I'm assuming, because I saw it on Twitter, like it's Panthers Bears. I mean, that's 2 terrible teams.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
That you've got to find a way to decide if you want to watch.
But that's how I felt about the Jets game. I was like, this, and it shouldn't have been, but it was just so terrible.
Well, and in the small defense of the NFL, a lot of them anticipated Aaron Rodgers being on
of course,
that
right? Of
Yeah,
course.
the Jets lineup was set
Right.
for Aaron Rodgers to be there.
If he was there, it would have been a much different story, but he wasn't.
But
And
now
it was
you've
just,
got
now
the
it's
Zach
comical.
Wilson. Yeah. All right, so
Zach Wilson.
yeah. All right, so now we've got a little bit of time. We're going to do our
All right. Knowing it's half the battle, and I know that I've talked a lot recently about bandwagon fans and true fans, and I've been asked several questions about how you determine that, and I'm going to tell you it's not exactly easy, and it might not be something that's just purely objective, but I've decided to go ahead and launch a service for our listeners, and so you can take advantage of this service, but I have a list of questions that you have to answer, and I will determine whether you are a real fan of your claimed team or not. Which Hodge fails 100% on any Clemson bull.
I would be failing
he
too.
just needs to pack it up and move along. So we do have an email address that you can submit your picks every week to, and you can submit your questions as to how to verify your fansmanship of your particular team.
Will there be a prize?
Well, you will be awarded an actual.
I need
you
a
can be
prize.
you can be a fan.
You can be a fan.
Or you
Okay.
can be called a bandwagoner, and I will berate you and tell you to move along.
What if people
you
saw
can
the
become an
Texas
HB1.
Rangers and they just fell in love with
HB1.
them, and they just now want to be fans from here on out?
Well, this could be the moment that
You
would
will
be,
allow
that would,
it?
that, well, no. That would be part of this. But the first thing that you have to say, and the email address is hodgepacksports@gmail.com. I know you have to say that a lot when you're on the radio, so that's hodgepacksports@gmail.com. You need to say, when was the first time you realized you were a fan of this team? And then explain in about a sentence what that was. Then I need you to tell me, in your opinion, now, like I said, this can be subjective, but I will objectively tell you that you're right or wrong. You can say what the top 3 moments of that franchise were or are, okay? And then you have to tell me the 3 greatest players of that franchise's history.
Can Google be involved?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you want to cheat, but then are you a real fan if you cheated? And that's the thing, the answer can be different for any particular person, depending on when and where you became a fan of that team. So if you became a fan of a team, let's say there's some standard answers that you can get where, well, okay, and a lot of times this is what I get where I have to determine, this is where you earn the big bucks in this prospects of figuring this out, is there will be people. I remember this distinctly back in the aughts, way back in the day when the Boston Red Sox decided that they wanted to win World Series again, and then they started winning multiple of them. I started seeing a lot of people wearing Boston Red Sox hats. I would ask them, I'd be like, "Are you a Boston Red Sox fan?" And they would say, "Oh yeah, I'm a Boston Red Sox fan." Why? Oh well, my dad liked the Red Sox. And okay, so that there is a possibility that is the case, but you have to be able to explain that and articulate that, and not just like
Not just because they're winning.
not just because they're now winning.
Right.
Obviously, we had the great fan migration of the teams from Rangers fans to Astros fans, because I knew about 3 Astros fans prior to 2015.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden their ranks swelled, and then there were a bunch. And like we've talked about extensively, geographic location is not an automatic like precursor of
Pass.
yeah, right. I mean, if you grow up in this area, you are there. I mean, there's obvious pull to geographic location because we like the Cowboys. It's because the Cowboys are the closest team. They obviously had a good run in the 90s, which allowed for a lot of people to maybe at that time bandwagon. If you're still there, you're no longer a bandwagon. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, like the one that probably, and I understand why a lot of them did, because they followed him from Lubbock to Kansas City. There's a number of people that are fans of the Chiefs.
Yes,
because of Patrick
Patty.
Mahomes.
And there are, and I spent, well, and I think a lot of children, early teens, do this, because when I was that age, I would be fans of players on particular
Yes.
teams, and you'd start to follow that team because that player was there. I distinctly remember liking the Chicago White Sox because Frank Thomas played there, and I really liked Frank Thomas, and obviously had a Hall of Fame career and all of that. But if at that time you would have had me articulate why I would say I like the White Sox, I would have failed miserably. It wasn't like truly being a fan. But to say that, like, yes, a lot of people, there's a lot of Chiefs stuff going around because of Patrick Mahomes. He's a good player. And you're allowed to be a Patrick Mahomes fan and not be a Chiefs fan. I mean, that's acceptable. You can like a particular player, follow him, watch him, want to draft him too high on your fantasy football league, all those things. But you're not a Chiefs fan.
You're a Mahomes.
You're
Right,
a Mahomes
yes.
fan. And you have to be able to differentiate that. And I, so having a vested interest in following the team because of a player, acceptable. Claiming you're a fan of that team, not acceptable.
Well, and so I want to encourage you, head over to hodgepacksports@gmail.com. Give us the reason why you're a fan, how long you've been a fan.
The moment you realize you were a fan, that's the first question. The 3 top moments in that franchise's history and the 3 top players in that franchise's history. And that can be, like I said, that is not, if you Google that about a particular team, you might get different answers. But I can tell you as a Rangers fan, obviously when I was young, Nolan Ryan was big time. You know,
Oh,
like
yeah.
and everybody loves Nolan Ryan. You know, but then Michael Young's on that list for me. And he, you know, is he really? I mean, he's not. He was never a superstar. And then there's other guys that because of those moments, you know, like I always really liked David DeLucci because he had just like one little run in the mid 2000s that I really liked. You know, so like you might not say he's one of the best players in the franchise history. He's not, but
That's
if
your
he's
reason.
part
Yeah,
of you being a fan,
we
then
got,
that
and we got to go to break, and we'll come back with a little bit because I want to preview the Cowboys Phillies game. But is that when you start liking people that other people don't because they are on the team and they make an impact to the team, that's when you know you're a
right.
fan.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
when we come back, we'll get ready for Cowboys Phillies, not
Phillies?
Yeah, we'll beat them too. We'll be back right now.
I like Jared Czechoslovakia
Yeah.
in 2008, 2009. I can tell you,
Yeah.
and Rafael Palmeiro when I was a kid. I mean, I'm
Rafi
telling-
was my absolute
I'm
favorite.
telling, I'm sitting here going.
I'm Josh, by the
I'm
way.
sorry, I'm Allison Spencer.
Nice to meet you.
My kid sent me with a list, so I don't.
Okay. That's important.
Like, I know what I'm doing. I said, I'm gonna be in the Kirk Street today. I'm ready.
So when we come back, we'll talk a little bit, but I want to get plenty of time for the picks.
Yeah.
But like, growing up, my football team has always been a relay backup.
Mhm.
You know, from Texas. So that is a generational thing, like you said.
Yeah.
It's a generation.
And that is allowed. I mean, it's one of those things, obviously, make all that.
But back in the, what was it, in
I
the
think there was a little bit, I couldn't tell if it was a burrito or just wadded up.
90s, when they were in the Super Bowl, it was on the college, I was the only one who could read the Packers.
Well, to me, it's the Braves. I grew up a Braves fan in the mid-late 80s.
Yeah,
A TBS.
I watched a lot of
it
Braves
was,
games.
it was a generation thing too. It was deep into my head. I mean,
Oh,
and then I
yeah.
married an actor, so I mean, you know. And my kid's name, I mean, forget his name, but a certain his initials would have spelled Ags, and I changed it. Because I was like, I can't set him up for failure.
Yeah. That's funny.
Like 2 less than 44. I was like, oh no, we can't. This is not gonna work.
We're going to probably shorten up this next segment and then have longer for
Perfect.
6.
We
Yeah,
had some really good debates today.
Yes.
It's been good.
But that's also the other benefit is you throwing other topics to talk about.
Yeah, the cringe.
Now, for some of it, we don't have the benefit because all 3 of our lives of having pre-show, like pre-show
Right,
meetings.
of course.
So that's why I'm throwing in those, even if we share, hey, the back question, keeping it secret still good. But like some of it, so we could have some of that debate, like
Right.
whether it's the coach's part or the, like.
Well, like I said, when Christian made that play, I was like, well, it started in game 3. And so that's what kind of started me thinking about, like, I literally physically went, oh my gosh, like watching that. Even though it went to our way, that was great. But just watching that, I'm like, how did you blow that bad? And then he did it again the next game. And then, of course, Thomas, center field. I mean, there were just several. And then the Jets game, I was like, yeah, I'm going to throw this out there. But it could go the way you were thinking, like when somebody gets injured and
That's
it
what I was
shows
thinking.
their
It's like,
limb, and you're like, oh, I mean, that's the same thing. It's all cringe. You know,
Right.
you're physically like, ooh.
I
But
was
that's
just-
what started my logic this week was Christian Walker. Just that, I mean, bless his heart. Like, it was just that ball was just going everywhere.
Well, and a lot of times for me, you look at it as it's normally either a kicker,
Uh-huh.
somebody misses a free throw,
Right.
or like the guy that, well, like last year, they called that holding penalty against the Eagles and gave the ball
hmm
where the Chiefs had an easy
Right.
finish.
Nailed it out at like 2 minutes. You talking about the Super Bowl? Yeah.
Well, welcome back to the Hodge Pack. We're rocking and rolling on this parade day for the World Series champion Texas Rangers. 3 times to the World Series. 3rd time was a charm, as they are the World Series champs. Again, parade day about 12 o'clock. I'm sure it's going to be crazy. We'll be modeling at a junior league thing, so I'll have to watch it later. Anyway, I want to jump into Dallas Cowboys again this Sunday, 3:25 kickoff against the Philadelphia Eagles. And I really hope, as we look at this week, Dak has really played really well against the NFC East. But going on the road, what's it going to be like? We were the only team in our division that did not make any kind of moves. Washington, they made some. They moved away, traded away players, but they made some moves, got some picks for down the road. The Giants shipped off defensive end to Seattle. And then the Eagles traded for, I can't think of the guy, but they traded for a defensive back over the weekend. So this week, what do you, and we'll obviously pick it. First, let me flip it. How the Cowboys played against the Rams this past Sunday was huge. It was nice. It was not a Ranger game to focus on. It was only the base football game that day. But the Cowboys looked pretty good on Sunday. And Micah Parsons literally may have sidelined Matthew Stafford. Homecoming was not great for him. Looked really good Sunday. Have we really beat a good team, or was the Rams win the best team that we beat?
I mean, I liked our Chargers win. I don't know. I think we talked about this game. Obviously, it was a good win, but I'm just still not convinced because of the inconsistencies that we've seen this season. I mean, this Sunday is going to be very telling. This is going to tell me a lot about the Dallas Cowboys. And I mean, Philly is tough to play. Their fans suck. I mean, it is a tough place to play. But I'm going to know more about the Dallas Cowboys this week, and we'll see who shows up because literally from week to week, you don't know which team you're going to get. They looked better, absolutely. More things jobbed, which that was kind of what I wanted to see, just more things meshing overall. And I thought that they did a fantastic job, and they stayed on the Rams the entire game.
Well, and I agree that I don't really think the Cowboys, to your point, have played a good team. When we looked at the schedule preseason, a lot of these early games, I remember talking about this before the season started, that, they kind of had a rough stretch at the start. Obviously, the Giants, people thought they were going to take a step, or a possibility that they would. They did not. The Jets, season went down the tubes before it even started.
4 plays in.
The Chargers, the Rams, people thought might be good. They have not played all that well. So the 49ers, were the only, I think, tough team that truly was firing on all cylinders, and they beat the pants straight off the Cowboys.
And the one win the Cardinals have
is the Cowboys.
Us.
I know, and the Cardinals are terrible and beat the Cowboys. So
traded Dobbs away, which is so
So how you judge what's going on, you obviously play the schedule that's in front of you, so we can't help that other teams have not been good. But this will be the second good team the Cowboys have played all year, and the last time didn't go so well.
Well, and the other thing about it is, after they play the Eagles, this is their next 3 games before they play anybody good. Giants, Panthers, Commanders.
Yeah, garbage.
Yeah,
and
that should be
then the Seahawks, who the Seahawks I think are a pretty good team. So you really don't have anybody coming up tough again until you play the Eagles. Well, but then you go back to back. You go here. Then the next 3 games are this: Eagles, Bills, Dolphins, Lions. That stretch is going to be like the SEC or the Big 12.
That's going to be a tough stretch. I just hope that, the hype whenever I wasn't even thinking about the 49ers, but whenever we played them, it was all this hype. And now I feel like it's the same thing. I'm really hoping that it's not all of this hype again and we get blown out like we did whenever we played San Fran.
I know, and then San Francisco, I guess
the wheels came off after they played us. I'm like, what the heck?
Getting hurt reminds me of when Diggs got hurt and it took us a minute.
Yeah.
And now we're playing better. All right, so we're going to talk more about it when we get to pick it. When we come back, we're going to have Allison Spencer join us as our guest picker See how she does. She says she wants to be her church freak. We'll see. We'll be back.
How do you spell your name?
Me?
Yes.
ALLS, so it is
Just normal.
my mother's.
Normal.
German way.
Your mother's what?
My mother said the German way.
All right. So, do you want to interview her? Is that good?
Yeah, we'll
Easier?
just, if she wants to go
Okay,
here, we'll
yeah.
just do this number. She can just split us.
All right.
We don't have a mic stand for this yet, so,
I can still see that.
yeah,
Alright,
perfect.
so-
Pops took it to us last week. 9 correct picks.
Papa Greer did good. I don't even know what I did.
You got 6.
Yeah.
Hodge got 5. Molly got 7. I got
Did
8.
anybody pick K-State?
I gotta pull up my picks
No, not that I've seen.
For this week? I did.
You picked K-State
I
to beat
sure did.
Texas?
Okay.
I sure did.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
It's the Aggie thing.
It is the Aggie thing.
Yep.
The one I'm toying with is the Oklahoma State game. That could go either way.
What did y'all do? What did everybody do? Wiley Cooper.
Wiley.
Wiley.
A&M Ole Miss. I know you went A&M.
I went Ole Miss.
I went Ole Miss.
What did you
My
do,
son
Wiley?
told me Ole Miss, but I've gone A.
Josh, what'd you do?
Ole Miss. Did you say Wiley?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm trying to write down this one.
What did Molly pick? Ole Miss or A&M?
Ole Miss. Did you pick Ole Miss?
Yeah.
Did anybody pick? I picked Houston.
I picked Houston.
I picked Baylor.
Josh, you picked Baylor?
Yes.
Molly?
Yes.
Oklahoma State and OU?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
I'm going to go Oklahoma because I want to live in the Big 12.
I went Oklahoma State.
I almost went Oklahoma
My dad
State.
said Oklahoma State.
Did anybody pick
But I went
LSU?
I did.
I did.
Did everybody else pick Bama?
Yeah. Yeah, that was my one off.
Were y'all both Bama? I'm going
Yes.
all kinds of behind.
No, I'm LSU.
Everybody's Bama. Oh, no, I mean,
No.
you went LSU?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Go Tigers.
All right.
Yeah. I went
I'm all kinds of screwed up because y'all are talking a lot and I'm not following.
All right.
Allison. Yeah, A&M on that one.
Houston. You picked Houston, right?
Yeah, I picked Baylor.
Me and Allison picked Houston.
And you picked K-State and you picked Texas?
I picked Texas.
You picked K-State.
Huh?
Texas or K-State?
Texas.
Allison
K-State.
picked K-State. Okay.
Yep, the rest of us picked Texas.
And keep it on.
Yes.
Is it better to be a Rangers fan than a Cowboys fan? Right now it is. I think right now you're in a spot, Robert, where you could be a fan of both and kind of enjoy where you're at, but you're a little disappointed that your kid's not making straight A's. That's basically what the Cowboys are. They're doing good in school,
Yeah.
but we need them to do a little bit better.
That's funny.
Your NFL games are pretty amazing.
They're all hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of toss-ups. Yeah, that might be better. Easier. We can come and let's do this. Yeah.
Oh, you didn't know it's time for our celebrity guest picker. And joining us in studio is Allison Spencer from All God's Children and / Wiley Pack. We got a big bond coming up, like Jim Ned and Merkel a lot. And so Wiley's bond early voting stops today. So be sure you go out and vote. So Allison, appreciate you being here this morning.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
All right, so we want to get the picks, and we love kids. So give us an elevator speech on your bond particularly.
Oh my goodness, this is all for the kids. We have to do better for our kids. Wiley community deserves this. Our children are our future, and we want better for them, and we can give them better with this bond. So let's get out there. Let's vote yes to all 3 propositions because these are for our children.
There you go. Facilities matter. I don't care where we are. We're learning that here. Our move from where we were downtown to the mall, facilities matter. And so we're still adjusting to them a little bit with our keychain microphone, but we're still adjusting. We're getting moved in. And it looks like a key
It
change.
is funny. I'm just like interviewing her. I'm just like,
it
here.
looks like a key change. So, all right. So, Allison, you've been excited about being a guest picker. We've got some time. So let's dive into our picks. Josh, real quick, give a shout out. Your dad did a pretty good job last week.
No, he won 9 out of 10. He did beat Molly, who had 7. Took the field. No one else got even really that close. Oh, I did. I got 8. I was fairly close. That
8 is really close to
So
9.
he's tied with Talon then, right?
That Rotan.
So they're tied now.
Rotan pick got me.
Yeah, I didn't see the Rotan blowout. I didn't see, well, obviously I picked Rotan, but I did see the blowout happening, and it definitely did. So let's dive into them. We first kick off with a high school showdown, South Crosstown Showdown, drive across the street. I'm calling this the game for the miles. And the reason I'm calling it the game for the miles is because tonight, Abilene Cooper will host Wiley at Shotwell tonight. And the winner gets to host a playoff game. The loser gets to go to El Paso next week for bye district. So go Bulldogs. I've got Wiley tonight. Does anybody have Cooper? All right, nobody has Cooper, so we'll just kind of keep rolling. It is a big one. We won Wiley won last year. Going to Cooper, it'll be a big game tonight. Of course, Abilene High not playing, so it'll probably be packed. All right, let's go to A&M. You can listen to them tomorrow as A&M heads to the Grove to take Ole Miss. We've all got Ole Miss. Allison, who do you have?
I have A&M, Giga Maggies.
There you go, Gig 'em. You can listen to them tomorrow right here. We thought we'd go through these real fast. I have UT is hosting K-State. Ewers is out. Arch Manning is not playing. We all have UT except the Aggie. Allison, who do you have?
I have K-State.
All right, there you go. K-State. We'll probably won't name, but that's okay. All right, University of Houston and Baylor. Again, a couple of coaches. Josh, you're a bit of a Baylor guy. Is Aranda, is the seat warmers on, or did they understand his appreciation of what he did a couple years ago and is going to give him a little more time?
I think there's a little more time. To your point earlier, sometimes people get in a hurry. The seat might be a little bit uncomfortable, but I don't think it's the ejection button's not on.
Who do you got, Mom? Misty?
Mom, that was cute. Baylor. It's Baylor Bears for me.
I've got the Houston Cougars.
I've got the Cougars too, which I probably wish I would change it because I think Houston's not as good. I don't know why. Maybe it'll help Baylor since my picker has been so good. I'm going to go University of Houston.
Molly and I both have Baylor. I do think Baylor is the better team. Their offense is very come and go. Hopefully that this week it's on the plus side.
College football playoff opening week came out with the playoffs. It really doesn't matter because it's week 1. Ohio State and Michigan are going to play. A lot of people in the Big 12 and the Big 10 are trying to get Michigan to be punished now for the signal gate. But top 4, Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, and Florida State. This week, Bama and LSU. The reason I'm bringing up the college football playoff is I think there's some possibility Bama can obviously find his way in. But I have Bama winning this one. And again, who do you have, Misty?
This one was tough, but I'm going to go LSU. This is kind of my one that I was like, I don't think it's going to happen, but maybe there's a chance.
I'm with you, Misty.
Yeah.
Go Tigers.
There you go, Josh. Who do y'all have?
Molly and I both have Alabama. And that's really just a home field advantage thing for me.
Yeah.
I think so, too. I think if it was at LSU, it might be a little tougher. I think Bama runs away with it, actually. Now we go to Germany for this next game, Dolphins and Chiefs. Again, you're going to have to wake up early. Don't forget the clocks fall back for this one. Dolphins, Chiefs. I've got the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to be really ticked off after losing to Denver. I've got the Chiefs winning. And again, the Dolphins are just like the Cowboys. They've got to beat somebody.
They've
good.
never beat or haven't beat anyone good. That's why I went with the Chiefs, just mainly because of that.
Molly
went with the Chiefs also.
I'm going to go Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs. Mahomes will be over the flu by then, and he's going to be back with a vengeance.
All right, Seahawks in Baltimore, another big one here. I said a couple weeks ago the Seahawks will win that division. I've got the Seahawks upsetting Baltimore.
I've got the Ravens.
I've also got the Ravens.
Ravens all around here too.
All right, looks like there's no chance the Seahawks have a chance. Okay, sorry. All right, Bills, Bengals, another big one, another game. Again, you mentioned the Jets. They're finding a way to win. If the Jets were to win this week and the Bills lose, they're going to fall not third in the division or third in the conference. They're going to be third in the division. I've actually got the Bengals. I think Joe Burrow is no longer home alone. He is playing well. I've got the Bengals winning this one. Misty?
I can't go against my Bills.
I thought you might.
I really thought about it, but I'm like, I just can't do it. I've got to go for Josh Allen.
Allison?
I'm with the Bengals.
Josh, what did you and Misty do? I mean, you and Molly.
Molly picked the Bengals also. I picked the Bills just because I still think they're just waiting to really make that step. And the Bengals are.
You're waiting for the Bills to make the step because I think it's time for them to get stepping.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think they have
Like
it
yesterday.
in them. I think they have it in them.
All right, here we go. The big one again. Sunday, 3:25. Cowboys against the Eagles. A big road win. I'm hoping the road winning is contagious and it filters its way to the Cowboys. I've got the Cowboys winning. I know it's probably a homer pick, but Jalen Hurts is not at 100%. But to me, the guy that's going to be the big is Mr. Bland and whoever has to guard A.J. Brown. But I've got the Cowboys.
A.J. Brown's the one that scares me. I did pick the Cowboys. I think that how they control really A.J. Brown, which opens up Swift, that has had a resurgence there, in Philadelphia. I picked the Cowboys. Molly picked the Eagles. It's a tough one.
I'm going with the Cowboys.
This is tough, but I will never pick the Eagles to play against the Cowboys because I hate them that much. So go Cowboys, and then we need to do Oklahoma State and Oklahoma.
All right,
We
Oklahoma
skipped that
State,
one.
Oklahoma. There you go. Who do you have? I've got Oklahoma State because I got Oklahoma State because they made me mad. I'll be honest with you. They made me mad. They ruined my prayer. They ruined it. There's no longer going to be an
Oklahoma's
undefeated.
So
lost
it's
to Kansas.
personal.
I think they bounce back.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
All right, I've got Oklahoma State, so that means they have no chance. All right, hey, appreciate everybody listening. Don't forget to go to hodgepacksports@gmail.com. Get why you're a fan. Josh will let you know if you are or not, whether you think you are. Josh will let you know. Thank you, Allison, for coming in. Go out and vote. Go Anti-Tigers, Aggies, and Cowboys all this weekend. Everybody, will see you next week.
Bye. Good show.
Good job.
Good show today.